All right, guys, I hope there's not too much background noise going on here. I got the AC, plus the people downstairs are blasting whatever shit they're listening to down there. And it's got a whole lot of boom, 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 boom bass. So we're going to try to get through this. What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Guys, I want to talk to you about the children out here, the children and COVID. We want to talk about how COVID is impacting the children in relation to some of the other things that are bothering our beloved children out here, and why we don't see the same level of outrage and urgency going on with these other things, since we care so much for the children and we have to look out for the children. And I agree 100% with that, but I'm going to have to call bullshit on quite a few things here, because in light of this article that I have here, which I'm going to talk to you guys about, it doesn't seem like we care all that much about the children as much as we try to act like we do, unless it's one of those issues that you can manipulate for your own political gain. What else is new? That's the way it's always been. I don't care if it's the children, I don't care if it's minorities, I don't care if it's women, I don't care what it is. The only time people ever really care about anything is when they can manipulate it. Now, I'm talking about politicians, okay? I'm talking about the decision makers, because I believe that everyday people are very genuine and that we do want to look out for one another, but we get manipulated through our media, we get manipulated through our politicians, and before you know it, we're all lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? So let me just share this story with you guys, and you tell me, are you seeing the contradiction here? Okay, I just happened to notice this, and this was on the NewYorkPost.com. Not a big fan of the New York Post, but it is what it is. Okay, no one's going to deny the facts of this matter. You can find it in other sources as well. I'm just reading it from this particular source. Okay, so it says here, more children in Chicago have been shot than died from COVID. That can't be true. More children in Chicago have been shot than died from COVID. And it goes on to say, more children have been the victims of gun violence in Chicago this year than have died from COVID-19 across the entire country, according to police and the Centers for Disease Control and Protection. The CDC reported that 214 children 17 years or younger have died from COVID-19 nationwide so far this year. 214 children 17 years or younger. That's a terrible thing. A really, very disturbing thing. And I'm heartbroken for all of the families who have had to go through such a thing. We have bungled and botched this shit so bad, since it's been going on. This is completely unacceptable. I have a very hard time believing, with all of the resources and all of the advancements that we've had with exploring alternative medications and things like that, treatments, I'm big on that, treatments, it's been ignored widely by Dr. Fauci, and the other dogs that are out there in favor of the vaccines, okay? Like I said before, I am not anti-vax, but they have to go hand in hand. There has to also be treatment in addition to the vaccines. And what is bearing witness to this, what is making this even more pronounced, is the fact that you have so many breakthrough cases that are coming forth now, that are coming out. So it's not just a disease or a pandemic of the unvaccinated when you have vaccinated people who are getting sick too. So how do you treat those people who are getting sick among the vaccinated if you don't experiment and look at and test all of these treatments that are out there, instead of going on some smear campaign because you found out that Joe Rogan took ivermectin? So now, all of a sudden, doesn't anybody think it's weird that once Joe Rogan said that he took ivermectin, then all of a sudden the smear campaign happened? People started making fun of it. You got that dickhead, what's his name? Stephen Colbert, making fun on his show of horse medication. That's the only angle they know. People taking horse medication and taking paste. And it's funny how these people would rather take horse medicine than take a vaccine. Well, it's not that hard to figure out, idiot. It's not just horse medication. Why don't you do your homework? You're looking stupid when you put that out there. Or you think that the people that you're talking to are stupid, in which case we should be offended that we're being lied to the way that we are. But maybe we are stupid, too stupid to realize that we are being lied to, too stupid to take offense, because that medicine, that medication that you're calling horse medication, that ivermectin, it won a Nobel Prize for usage with animals and with humans. Okay? It's a treatment. It's a treatment that they're using in a bunch of other places. That is a fact. That's not misinformation. What's misleading is when they just say that it's horse medication. But of course, like I said before, maybe we are really that stupid because nobody goes to look any deeper. All right? So you have all of these breakthrough cases, and we're still not offering treatment even for the vaccinated. So how does that work? Okay? So getting back to the story here, it says 214 children 17 years or younger have died from COVID-19 nationwide. The majority of them, by the way, did have pre-existing conditions. Not that it makes it any easier to accept, but that is a fact. Okay? COVID-19 has a very minimal effect on children. That is a fact. Okay? It doesn't make it any less tragic. All right? It doesn't mean that I pray any less for those people, for those families, for our children who are in these schools. Yeah, I do. But I don't feel like the powers that be, the ones who are running this, are really giving us their all when it comes to protecting us or our children. All right, and this story also is lending credence to that. So it says here there were 214 children 17 years or younger who died from COVID-19 so far this year, compared to 261 Chicago kids who have been victims of gunfire in Chicago, according to police statistics that were reported by Fox News. All right, I'm not a big fan of Fox News either, but these facts are easy enough to check, okay? So don't just let it be that you heard it from Fox News, so it must be bullshit. Check it for yourself. See if it's true, okay? Because there's a lot of people out here who's bullshitting us, so it behooves all of us to do that, okay? More children have been fatally shot on the streets of Chicago than have died of COVID-19 in the state of Illinois. Police reported 41 deaths of children under 18 in Chicago so far this year. In the state of Illinois, deaths of children from COVID-19 totaled 25. Okay, 25 deaths due to gun violence versus, I should say 41 deaths due to gun violence versus 25 due to sickness from COVID-19. And those are the ones that are being attributed to COVID-19. We all know how those numbers can be fucked up. We all know about that, guys. All right, so 25, according to the Illinois Department of Public Health. Over Labor Day weekend, 63 people were shot in Chicago, including 8 children. Among the 6 fatalities was a 4-year-old boy from Alabama who was killed while getting his hair done in an apartment last week. And of course, we hear about that all the time. This isn't something that just started, guys. We're hearing about children in these hoods, who are on their way to school, who are on their way to, play a game or something like that. It's the innocent ones who end up getting shot down in the streets. And that is the shame of the neighborhood, the so-called community. And I use that word loosely. There is no such thing as a community when you're getting your children shot down in the streets by your children. Okay? A community only falls when the people within that community give up on that community, because these people out in the streets, they are us and we are them. So we let it go. And that's the reason why our children are suffering nonetheless. But because we really don't give a shit about the children, and we're talking about children and victims of gun violence, never mind the abuse, the physical abuse, the emotional abuse, the verbal and mental abuse that these children have to go through on a regular, which, by the way, has been aggravated by this whole COVID-19 thing because of the lockdowns and the shutouts and, children not being able to go to school and wear masks and all of that stuff. We have yet to figure out what will be the long-term effects, not just of the vaccine, but of the things that we did to deal with this thing that have impacted our children, which are the least affected by this pandemic, I might add. So that's something to always keep in mind. But once again, we don't really care, because if we did at these parent-teacher meetings and things like that, We would be sharing the information instead of arguing about who read this website and who read that website. We would have professionals to come in and give us the facts, not just go and take the vaccine, but what treatments are available. There's a novel idea. Yes, okay, we get it. The vaccines are good. The vaccines are there. That's what we should be using. Okay, we get that. But realistically speaking, people are still getting the virus. So once they get the virus, then what's wrong with treating the virus? But no, we don't get into that. And if we did care about the kids, you would think that would be paramount. You would think that would be a priority, to get an organization to come through and actually give parents true empowerment, which would be information and facts, not just agendas and somebody's selling points, which is what we're getting. Okay, so there you have it, guys. I think it's very interesting. Okay, the children are being killed by guns. The children are being victimized by the many social conditions that are out here in far greater numbers than what's being done or how they're being affected by this pandemic or the COVID-19, the virus specifically. So where's the urgency, guys? Where's the concern? Why aren't people talking about this? I'm talking about, if we judge it by what you guys are saying, that we care so much about the kids. We care so much about protecting our children. So why aren't we talking about this the same way? Why are there no actions being taken? Why is your freaking bitch ass president, why isn't he talking about how he's losing patients or his patients is wearing thin with this? Why has this been something that's been accepted as just a part of life and death all this time? But this minuscule number of perfectly healthy children who are getting the worst outcome out of this pandemic, that has to be something that justifies mandates and requirements and patients wearing thin. It doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe you guys can help me to understand it. And before anybody comes in here and says, oh, we can care about both. Well, you haven't cared about both. That's where the hypocrisy comes in. Stop making excuses for these bastards who are looking to control us. Because ultimately, as we keep peeling back the layers, we see that's what the real objective is. It's control. Okay, because life and death is not something that Sleepy Joe or anybody else can delay or bring about sooner than it's supposed to be. Okay, life and death is just going to be what it is. And in between that, what do we have? We have treatments. We do have vaccines. All right, but when you have all of these other issues there, and I see that we don't have that same sense of urgency going on there, I'm not just talking about the government. I'm talking about our community as well. The same ones that are arguing in these at these parent meetings and conferences and school board meetings. Where's that? Where's the concern over that? It's not there. But anyway, guys, listen. Let me know how you feel about this. Maybe it's just me. Do you see the hypocrisy in all of this? Let me know. You can get in the comment section and sound off. Be respectful. You know how I am. You know what it is. You can like, you can share, you can subscribe. Thank you guys for listening. I'll catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.